Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to tonight's edition of Evangelist Mangwende live on Wednesday midweek. And thank you for joining in wherever you are. And it is a blessing, and we want to thank the Lord. We want to thank God that He has given us this opportunity to meet again today, regardless of circumstances that you might be in. You have been given an opportunity to sit and watch this video, this live video, or this afterlife video presented by your evangelist. And I say regardless of our circumstances, regardless of our situations. This is so because I'm constantly talking about life to the effect that life is suffering. Whatever situation that you are in, it is designed to be like that. That's how life works. That's how life is. Life is not all roses. And did you know that even roses have got thorns? So they can prick you if you are not very careful. But they are so beautiful. They're so wonderful. But they have got thorns. And if you go into a rose garden, you've got to choose how you want to enjoy the views, how you want to enjoy the beauty of a rose garden. If you choose to walk in the rose bushes, then be prepared to be scratched, be prepared to have all sorts of other minor, tiny injuries. But if you choose to walk along the pathways, you will enjoy and you will love the smell, the scent of the roses in the garden without the scratchings and everything. But these are flowers that are really, really beautiful in a wonderful rose garden. So life is about you, how you view it, how you take it on board. Sometimes it is not about what is happening in life that really, really is making life so hard, so difficult, so challenging, so everything. But it is your attitude towards life that makes life what it is. Sometimes you just need to change your attitude. You just need to twist your attitude a little bit, and things can be a lot better. I've been saying, over now about a month and a half or so, that I will be using myself as an example for quite a long time, because I've been unwell for a very, very long time, and I am still struggling right now. But being unwell has taught me a lesson. Being unwell has taught me some valuable lessons of life. That if you sit down and concentrate on just, I am unwell, and what can I do? It's so painful. I cannot go out. I cannot do this. You will go into depression. But if you change your attitude towards your illness and say, oh yes, my illness is particularly in just one area or one part of my body, one leg that is affected. The other leg is perfectly okay. It suffers, yes, because it's doing most of the donkey work, but it is quite okay. My hands are quite okay. My mind is quite okay. Every other part of my body is firing really, really well. So I have learned that in life, when one part of you is not doing really well, use the other parts of your body. Stanford, just welcome, good evening. Use the other parts of your body that are okay, and you won't be so depressed. I've said before, I grew up with an uncle who was blind from birth. This gentleman is still alive right now. He's still okay. He can do a lot of things, but he is visually impaired. It taught me valuable lessons in life that disability does not mean that you are unable to function and to do things in life. You can still do lots of things because you do not need your eyes to play a guitar. You need to know the chords. You do not need your eyes to play a piano. You just need to know the chords. There is quite a lot of things. Even pottery, he is someone who could do that. Manual work in a field, he would go to weed in a field, and you are just thinking, how is he doing it? It was because he changed his attitude towards life and said, I am blind for the rest of my life unless a miracle happens. Therefore, if I mourn that why is it that God brought me to this world without my sight, he is going to be depressed and he will be hopeless and possibly become useless. But he said, this is what God gave me, and this is what it is. And what it is what it is. And I accept it and will work towards uplifting my own life, uplifting myself. And we have got, people who are disabled who have done wonders in this world. We know a lot of people who are disabled, but have performed to Olympic standards, to world standards. This can happen. So it's just like yourself. You need to turn your mind a little bit. You need to change your attitude towards life, and life will become quite tolerable. I wonder sometimes why somebody who is totally able, they've got their mind, they've got their hands, they've got their legs, they have got their mouth, they've got their ears, they've got everything is working, but they lose hope. They lose hope. They lose hope. And you're thinking, can you not count it joy? Can you not count it a blessing that you have got your hands, you have got your legs, and you have got your eyes and your ears, and you have got your mouth, you have got the whole set of teeth. You are complete. Can you not count it a blessing? Because there is someone who is out there who doesn't have arms, who doesn't have legs, but because they changed their attitude towards life, they are living a wonderful life. They are living a happy life. And tell you what, whatever circumstance that you are in, whatever situation that you are in, we don't have to sit down and constantly curse the Creator. Why did God create me like this? Yes, this is how God created you, and that's what you are, and that's what you have got. And you have got to work with what you have, and you have got to manage what you have, not what you don't have. Change your attitude towards life. Change your perspective towards life, and life will become meaningful. You think, oh my God, I don't have money. I just heard in Zimbabwe yesterday, I was reading milli meal 10 kg roller meal, not the refined one. Roller meal is now going for 70 RTGS or Zimbabwean dollars per 10 kg. And I was thinking, Oh, yes, that's really expensive. And somebody is going to be depressed because of that. Don't get depressed, my fellow brethren. There are some people who are in a difficult situation where they cannot find that millennium. Or even if they find the millennium, they are not so blessed to be in a situation to be able to cook the salsa and eat it. Because something is happening. This is life. That's exactly how life is. Life is suffering. The book of Job, chapter 14, verse 1. Man who is born of a woman has got few days, and the majority of the few days are full of suffering. Therefore, accept life as it is. And when we talk of accepting life as it is, we are talking of mindfulness. We are talking of meditation. We are talking of mindful prayer, where you are staying in the moment and accepting the situation as it is without making any judgments, without wanting it to be good or to be worse, without wanting it to change, but just accepting it as it is, treating the moment as it is. And if we do that, we are able to keep a calm mind. We are able to keep a cool head. Because tell you what, a lot of us people, we are so much in distress about life because we refuse to accept what life is. We refuse to accept what life is. You are distressed because you think your husband does not listen to you. As a result, you begin to make judgments, you begin to make conclusions because he has just done something, or maybe he has come home late. It is because of our expectations. We become angry. There is no justification of anger. There is no justification of rage. If you change your perspective, if you look at situations as they are, if you look at circumstances as they are, and let go of any other things that you might want to hook onto, that you might want to bring onto the moment, which are not related to that moment at all. If you talk to people and you tell them, you know what? Pain, you can manage pain by practicing mindfulness, by practicing meditation, by practicing prayer. People will say, what is that all about? Pain is pain and pain is painful. How can you say we want to pray you and then you will be healed? How can you just say, I need to accept that I am in pain? How do you want me to accept that my children are very, very, very challenging? How do you want me to accept that I do not have a job? How do you want me to accept that I do not have money? My finances are in shambles. How do you want me to accept that when people do things that frustrate me, things that make me angry, I should just let things be like that? How can I do that? It is because we have not accepted the idea of mindfulness, the idea that we can let things be. We can let things be what they are without making any judgment, but letting them be. And when we let life be what life is, life becomes meaningful. Because The Word of God talks about how challenging and how difficult it is as a person, as a human being, to balance what your body wants to do and what your mind wants to do. It's not easy. What do I mean? Does it mean the body has got a mind of its own and the mind a mind of its own? We have now been enlightened. We now know through studies that the brain is divided into several bits and pieces that manage, that do, that function, that perform certain tasks at any one given moment. Therefore, what you want to hear is different from what you want to see. What you see might be different from what you expected to hear. Because these two organs are controlled by two different parts of the brain. What do I mean by that? What I'm talking about here is, if then we are able to know that our mind has got different functions, our brains work differently depending on the information that is being fed into it, we are able to then sit down and say, if that is the case, I can bring my mind under control one way or the other. I'm saying, for an example, if your distress is coming through the eyes, you can let your ears calm you down. If your distress is coming through the mouth, the chest, you can let your eyes calm you down. If this distress is coming through the sense of touch, you can let the nose calm you down. But you need knowledge. You need to know how to do this. But in all this, it boils down to the thing that is called the mind, which, according to neurologists, they have got a strong belief that the mind is another type of sense on top of the five. A sense that interprets every information that comes into your mind, into your brain. It is the mind that actually makes sense of that and then make you behave or do certain things in a moral or what I can call a human way or manner. Without the mind, we would be like animals. Animals do not have a mind. As a result, animals can just do whatever they want anyway. You won't be surprised to see Unless you train the dog, or train the cat, or you train your donkey, you train your horse, that you have got very respectable people. You are talking or showing them, this is my wonderful cattle, my wonderful horses, and so on. And it starts urinating. It doesn't have a mind. It doesn't know, it doesn't realize. So this thing that is called mind needs training to be able to keep calm, to keep under control, so that we can function reasonably well in society. We can be useful members of society who, when they are faced with challenges in life, they look at those challenges as they are. The sad thing is the mind and our desires, or the desires of our bodies, they are always at loggerheads. Let us read from the book of Galatians to maybe illustrate what I mean, what I'm talking about here. Galatians chapter 5. Verse 17. It says, "For the flesh lusteth against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh. And these are contrary the one to the other, so that you cannot do the things that you would." Reshona rinoti nokuti nyama inoshuva zvinopesana nomweya, uye mweya unopesanawo nezvinoshuviwa nenyama. Izvi zvinorwisana pachazvo kuti murege kuita zvamunoda. Now, what Paul was writing to the Galatians here was warning them to be careful about the function of the mind, of the spirit, and the body. The soul and the body. The spirit here is what I am calling the mind. And the body. These two, they are constantly debating. One saying, I want to do this, and the other saying, no, I want to do it this way. And as a result, you will find that there are people in life who will find it very, very difficult to control their desires, to control their delusions. They will find that very, very difficult because they cannot let the mind get hold of the moment. The moment they feel they want to eat, they go and eat. The mind is saying, I don't think you have got to eat because you have just finished a bowl of cereals, you have just finished a bowl of rice, you have just eaten a whole chicken. And the body is saying, no, I'm hungry, I need more. Or when the mind is saying, I really, 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 really would like to taste a piece of chocolate. And your body is saying, no. No. And these two will be pulling each other all the time. And pulling each other all the time is what will lead into distress. It is what will lead into people acting in a manner or in a manner they will regret tomorrow, or they will regret soon after. So the most important of all things here is your mind. If we can control our minds, if we can teach our minds to stay in the moment, to keep calm in the moment, accepting the moment as it is, without wanting to change it, then we are able to control all these desires. If we do not take care of our mind, I'm telling you, you won't be able to control the desires of your body. You won't be able to control the delusions in your body. We talk of the mind, I've said, I'm talking of the mind as though it is entirely separate from the brain. Yes, it is. It is totally separate. It is, the mind is a different entity on its own. It's there, and it is the one that if we teach it to remain calm, it opens the whole of the brain to the thing, or to this thing that is called acceptance. It will help the brain to accept things in a much, much more rational way. We will be able to see much, much better. We will be able to hear much, much better. We will be able to taste much, much better. We will be able to feel things on our bodies much, much better if we teach the mind to remain calm. As long as the mind is all over the place, I will tell you, when we start talking of emotion or emotion control, emotion regulation, if you cannot keep your mind calm, it will be very, very difficult for you to control your emotions, especially the negative emotions. Things like anger, things like sadness, disgust. These will be very, very, very difficult to control, and usually this will lead us into big, big trouble. What causes us to be so angry and destructive? What causes us to develop from anger into rage? It is because we have not accepted the situation as it is. We are living in anticipation. We are living in expectation. We are living in the past. If we stay in the moment, I will tell you, you will realize, you will notice that there is no justification for anger. There is no justification for rage. What someone is saying, evangelist, emotions are there, emotions are emotions, and they need to be expressed. Oh yes, I agree with you that emotions are emotions and they need to be expressed. But remember what I said. We are not like wild animals or even domesticated animals. We have developed. Yes, I know. If you look, there is quite a lot of people who have done studies on emotions, especially Charles Darwin, his pioneer of studying emotions, trying to look at the similarities between emotions in animals and emotions in human beings. And also Paul Ekman, United States professor, behavioral emotional professor, he has looked into emotions at length, going all over the world, interviewing people, observing people, and what they have discovered is there is something common between humans and animals. We all have the same emotions in general. You find anger in animals, and you will find it in human beings. And the way anger is expressed on the face in animals is the same as it is expressed in humans on the face. It's the same. Surprise in animals and in humans is the same. It's expressed the same way. Even sadness is the same. So there is a common denominator between humans and animals. Emotions. We all experience emotions. The difference comes on how we manage emotions. Because for us humans, we have evolved over, well, animals are actually older than us. Animals have been there. Even the Bible talks about what animals were created before humans. So for animals, they have lived with emotions longer than us. But we have evolved very, very quickly in as far as emotion is concerned. Why? Because our brain has developed better than the animals. And most importantly, we have got a mind. So because we have got the mind, we are able to manage these emotions. That's why when you visit somebody, or when you go to somebody to visit a family, friends, or whoever, and they have got a problem which is causing them sadness, because there is empathy. You also feel sad. You also express sadness. Your face will show or reflect sadness which is there. But you won't be surprised if you go to a family that is grieving with a dog, or with a monkey, or with a horse, with a cow, because they don't understand. They don't have a mind. They will be happy. They will be having fun. They will be doing all sorts. We have developed. But we still need to work on teaching the mind to go beyond where it is today. Because Paul in the Bible saw it and said, the spirit and the body, these two things are constantly antagonistic. They are constantly pulling each other. And there is something that must be in control. And it is the mind that must be in control. The mind must be in control. And for the mind to be in control, it must be trained. We need to train the mind to be in control. Yes, evangelists, when we are preaching, we always say, Jesus Christ has taught us to be still. Be still and know that I'm God. The Bible says that in Psalms. Be still and know that I'm God. And even Jesus, when his disciples, when the boat was hit by a storm, he said, be still to the storm, and it calmed down. But keeping still in the face of a storm in the face of a challenge, it's not something that just comes bang like that. It's something that you have got to teach. Ask somebody who has got anger issues how easy it is to stay calm and not act on the edge to attack. People with anger issues are just like animals. Their emotional development related to anger has not developed beyond what animals do. When an animal is angry, its only option is attack. To defend yourself. Attack. That's what it does. If a snake is angry, it attacks. That's what it does to protect itself. If it perceives there is threat to my life here, attack. That's what it does. And that is exactly the problem with people with anger management issues. Once they are faced with a problem, with a challenge, somebody does something that they don't like, they are into the attack mode, and that's all they know, they attack. And they are so quick to get into rage, and they are destructive. Tell them, how does that happen? They will tell you, I don't know. When I'm angry, all I see is blood in my eyes. So such a person, if you are one of those people with anger issues, you need to train your mind to remain calm, to remain cool. What happens in the mind of somebody with anger? Because they don't take time to reflect, they don't seem to understand what happens. Have you ever thought of somebody who they get angry and they are 10 miles away from the other person who has made them angry, and they travel the 10 miles. Some have traveled even hundreds of miles, propelled by anger, to go and destroy somebody's property, to go and even murder somebody, or to go and even injure somebody. Rage, traveling 100 miles. And people say, how could that be? It is because when somebody is angry, anger tends to shut off all reasoning. It begins to find fault and justification of what it does best to destroy. So if you take stock of when you have been angry and you ended up in a fight, or you ended up beating up somebody, even you're beating up your wife, your girlfriend, your husband, your kid, or your neighbor, or anyone. If you take stock of what happened prior to the attack, is you had to find justification for what you were going to do. You had to find justification for your anger. You had to find reason. And to find reason is to fault the other person and not to accept them, to fault them and to class them as a danger to your livelihood. And as a result, they just need punishment, and their punishment is destruction. That is how anger works. But now, if your mind is taught to remain calm in the face of anger, in the the face of anger, if your mind is taught to remain calm, it opens all those other areas that had been shut. It opens your eyes to see clearly. It opens your ears to hear clearly. It opens your skin to feel nicely. It opens your wise mind to logically think of what is happening. And in the end, what your mind will see is that there is no reason for anger to the extent of destroying something. There is no justification of rage. Why? Because when you have calmed your mind, you are able to engage loving kindness, and you are able to forgive because you have got empathy, and because you have got compassion, and your heart is warm, you are warm-hearted, you are able to see reason that there is no justification of anger. Because this person, just like myself, just like any other human being, they are bound to make mistakes. And you begin to see the other side of the story, which is very, very important when we train our mind to remain calm, to remain settled. We begin to see the other side of the story. Because in most cases, when we are angry, when we are sad, we don't see the other side of the story. It's not because we don't want to. It's only we have not trained our mind to take time, to be settled, to cool down, to relax, and let reason come in. And we see the other side of the story. Some people will think this is difficult. Oh yes, it's not easy, but it is doable. With training, if we train our minds, to be calm, if we train our minds to be settled, if we train our minds to accept the moment, things as they are, we will begin to see clearly, to hear clearly, and even to feel quite clearly. Everything becomes clear. The mind becomes clearer. This is what mindfulness, this is what meditation teaches. You wonder why some people will tell you, it will take the whole world to upset me. You hear some people saying, it will take the whole world to make me sad. People will tell you, it will take me the whole world to lose my mind. And you're thinking, how do you do that? It is because they have trained their mind to accept the moment, to accept things as they are. Jesus Christ, we know. Jesus Christ, we know. My sister, welcome. Jesus Christ, we know. He is someone who Jesus Christ is God. Jesus Christ was the Son of God, so he was God. So he had power to overcome all temptations. But because he was born of a human being, we know when he was baptized, he went into the wilderness 40 days and 40 nights. And he spent all those days praying. He spent all those days and nights fasting and meditating on loving kindness and forgiveness and meditating on empathy and compassion and developing a warm heart. He spent time meditating on these things, and God gave them to him. And this is what we need to work on. You need to work on, my brother, my sister, to work on teaching your mind loving kindness and forgiveness, to teach your brain empathy, to teach your mind compassion, to teach your mind warm-heartedness. We need to teach our minds this thing, and we can only do that if we spend time meditating on it, if we spend time doing mindfulness on it, if we spend time praying on it. What do we spend time praying about? We are spending time praying for jobs, we are spending time praying for wives, we are spending time praying for boyfriends, we are spending time praying, I want to buy a car, I want to buy a house, I want to go on a holiday, I want a wonderful life, I want this. We are constantly praying for all these things. Yet, the most important things in life to pray for, loving, kindness, forgiveness, empathy, compassion, warm-heartedness. We need to spend time praying on this. Because the good news is, when you have spent time praying on these things, this is what the Bible talks about. Search ye the righteousness of God. Search ye the kingdom. Search ye righteousness. Be righteous. Search for the kingdom. Be righteous. Search for the kingdom. What is the kingdom of God? What did Jesus Christ say about the kingdom? Where is the kingdom of heaven found? Where is the kingdom of God found? Jesus Christ said, do not listen to people. They will lie to you. If they say it will come from the east, it will come from the west, it will come from the north, south, from up in heaven or underneath. For the kingdom is within you. You heard Jesus Christ with the Pharisees talking, debating about eating. You should not eat this because it defiles your body. You should not drink this because it defiles the body. And Jesus Christ was on record all the time to say, you concentrate on the wrong things. It is not what goes in there that defiles men or women. It is what comes out of you, which means what comes out of you comes out of your brain, it comes out of your mind. And this is what we need to pay attention to. This is what we need to focus on to. Even cleanliness. They were saying, your disciples, they don't wash their hands, they are dirty, they do this. And Jesus Christ was on record again to say, you focus on the wrong things all the time. Beautifying the body, the outside. You clean the cups, you clean everything outside, but you leave the inside dirty. Take care of the inside. Even about the temple, he was on record to say, you think the temple is that building? It isn't. The temple is you. What is inside? Why do you put inside yourselves things that will make the temple of God dirty? Don't you know, even Paul writes about it, don't you know that you are the temple of God? So, everything is centered on the mind. The moment we are able to come to terms with reality, the here and now, the mind becomes quiet. The mind becomes calm. And when the mind is calm, it sees clearly, it hears clearly, it smells well, it tastes well, and so on. So It is important to train the mind all the time to be still and know that I'm God. To be still and know that I'm God. And I have said, one way of teaching the mind to remain calm and still, to remain cool, is the acceptance that life is what it is. My sister, my brother, what challenge are you facing right now? That is what life has given you today. Don't fight against it. Let it be what it is. And your mind will begin, your brain will begin to open to new ideas. Your mind will begin to see new ideas. I think you can witness here and say, one time you were in a situation and you were just running around and jumping up and down and everything. You couldn't find a solution. Solutions were very hard and difficult to come. And it was only when you had settled down to sit down and say, okay, this is it. I'm in this situation, and this is what it is. I want to let it be what it is. I'm not going to judge it, and I'm not going to curse myself. I'm not going to curse anybody. I'm not going to blame anybody. I'm just going to let the situation be what it is. And the moment you did that, your mind opened your brain. You could now think logically. You could now reason. You could now come up with pros and cons of every move, action that you wanted to take. You could now see you were just panicking for nothing. You could actually see that you were going to waste your money. I will tell you, mindfulness, if I said this before, that mindfulness is good in business. Managers who know mindfulness, managers who have practiced and practice mindfulness are good managers because they think straight. Their minds can see, reason quite clearly. Their minds are not blinkered. They can see things as they are. And when you have got a manager like that in a company who stays in the moment, who thinks clearly, you know they are good managers, not only of people, but also of the company's other resources. And the human resource is the most important one. Good managers, because if they have learned meditation and mindfulness, they know how to tackle problems with their workforce. They are not antagonistic. They are not instigators. They are not punishers. They are not all that kind of, they are not gossipers. They are not warmongering, but they are reasonable. They always find the middle way when there is a lot of debating and pulling against each other. They always find a middle way because mindfulness has taught them, or meditation has taught them to look at life as it is. It's good for business. It's good for managing your own affairs as a person. Mindfulness, meditation, prayer, good for managing your own as a person. Everywhere, even where you're going, it will help you not to spend money unnecessarily. Possibly in your house right now, I'm telling you, in your house right now, how many bags are full of shoes that you don't want? How many bags are full of clothes that you don't want? Brand new. Some of them maybe worn a couple of times. Why is that? Because you're not mindful. Your buying, your spending is impulsive. Just because there's a wedding, you think you need a new dress, you think you need a new shoe, or you need a new suit or something like that. Just because there's a wedding, there's a party, you forget that you bought a new suit 2 months ago, you want to buy a new suit and everything. It's because your mind is not in one place. You are failing to see that going to an event, it can be a wedding, it can be a party. They are all gatherings. So if they are all gatherings, what's wrong with wearing a suit that I bought 2 months ago when I went to attend a wedding with so and so? What's wrong with wearing the same suit at my friend's graduation party? What's wrong with wearing the same suit on my daughter's something? Because this is just dressing. But because our minds have not been taught how to keep calm and accept situations as they are, we are thinking, what will people think about me? They'll think, well, ndikutambisa mari, kumari yacho ndiye chini, zvikazoita sei. And we are all over the show. But let me tell you, learning to pray mindfully, mindfulness, meditation will teach you to accept that life is what it is. Elder Chimbwanda, how are you? Unfortunately, Facebook no longer, allows people to join in. I don't know what happened. Otherwise, I could ask you to join in. Try it. If you never know, it might allow you. Things change all the time. So, if only we would let our minds settle down, calm down. That's all what we need. And we can do this through learning mindfulness and meditation. And when we do mindfulness, when we do meditation, when we pray, I have said, what we are praying for to fill our hearts and our mind is loving kindness and forgiveness. We are mindfully thinking of empathy, asking empathy to come in and stay in me, asking compassion to be part of me, asking warm-heartedness to be me, wishing myself to be in harmony with life, wishing myself to be at peace with life, wishing myself to be happy. And if we can do this, if we can constantly feed this to our minds, feed this to our mind, to our brains, if we constantly are feeding our heart loving kindness, forgiveness, let me tell you, if you are forgiving, you accept everybody, isn't it? That person who cuts in front of you, when you're driving, singing your very, very wonderful song, that person who cuts in front of you. Yes, emotions being emotions, fear is going to grip you, and you are going to hit the brakes to save yourself. And all that happens within a fraction of a second. And this is impulsive. This is instinctive. You are not under control. No. Then anger comes in. But when anger comes in, because you've got loving kindness and forgiveness inside you, you are filled with loving kindness and forgiveness inside you. You forgive that driver who cuts in front of you. So you are not going to roll down the window and shout at them or start sticking your fingers out and saying all obscenities, forgetting that you have got wanyarikani motkari momo or you've got kids in the car. You will not do that. Why? Because you have got empathy that you have meditated upon for hours and hours, and you are filled with empathy. Empathy is found in you. You will begin to see the other side of the story. And say, maybe this driver, something terrible is happening in their life. And their concentration and focus on the road is compromised because of that. Therefore, they are driving erratically. And instead of being angry at them, you wish them safe driving. You wish them happiness. You wish that whatever is going on in their mind, can it be solved and dealt with by our Lord Jesus Christ? Amen. And you let them go. You let go. I will tell you, you won't be frowning. You won't get home. There are people who have got home after a journey and they're in a mood. And you're thinking, are you okay? And they say, oh, this driver out there, he almost killed me. If I had not hit my brakes on time. Say, calm down. Calm down. It's gone. You are alive. You are not dead. If you were meant to die, you know what? You would be telling the story. No, you wouldn't be. So why worry? Let go. It's done now. You didn't hit them. They didn't hit you. So you're safe. This only comes with training. This only comes with training, letting go of the past. I said, a lot of people who are sad in life, who are constantly sad, they are not sad because of what is happening right now. True. If you are one of them people who is suffering from depression, I know, yes, and I understand there are certain types of depression which even the medics will say we don't know what's causing it. The person is happy, has got the life, everything they want. They will tell you, you know what? There is nothing that I can pinpoint as causing the depression. It's chemical. It's something that is biological. But there are certain depressions that are caused by what is happening in life. Not currently, but that happened, sorry to say, things that happened years ago. That is depressing you right now. Yours is not a case of chemical imbalance. No. It is because your mind is constantly thinking of 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 50 years ago. You are now 60 years old and you are still thinking of that thing that happened when you were 15 years old and you still crying about it today. you are depressed because of something that happened to you 40 years ago. Come on. Let go. Let go. What's happening in your life today is more important. The here and now. I'm telling you, I will tell you, Professor Ekman have found out, have studied, and the outcome of studies of emotions is that if we want to change them, we can. If we want to change emotions, we can change them. If we want to change behavior that is linked to our emotions, we can. Because for your own information, behavior is learned. So anything that we learn, we can unlearn. Although, just like weight, you can put on weight within a couple of days, but to shed it off, it will take you months. The same applies to whatever happens to our brains. If something terrible happens, I know there are traumas out there, traumas caused by, a lot of things. But trauma is not a death sentence. If you learn prayer, mindfulness, meditation, and central to this is the ability to let go. Let go of those thoughts, memories, let go of them. It's you who brings them up. I will tell you this, it's you who brings them up. So if it is you who is bringing them up, you can let go of them. Yes, possibly you didn't know this. If you're clinically depressed, then you need to see your GP. You need to go to A&E. You need to see a psychiatrist so that you can get the treatment that is necessary or that is needed. Because sometimes we don't know that we are clinically depressed. And when we are clinically depressed, then things have gone out of hand. We need something to get us. Even in hospitals, they wouldn't, start teaching people or introducing people straight onto mindfulness or meditation before they recover to a certain level. But what I'm telling you is the evidence is out there. Marshall Linehead has written loads about mindfulness and meditation in the treatment of unstable personality disorders. Lots of people have written about cognitive CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. And mindfulness plays a very, very central role in the treatment. All over the developed world, mindfulness has become the thing. Meditation has become the thing. And ask any psychologist, if there are any psychologists watching this, they will tell you they dream. If they haven't, to one day visit a monastery, to spend time with the priests, to spend time with the fathers, with the nuns, with the monks, to visit, churches and spend time with the bishops to see how they handle stress, how they handle distress, how they handle things like anger, anxiety, depression, and so on. And what they will be observing and participating and taking part in is mindfulness and meditation. Ask any psychologist there. There's no psychologist who doesn't practice mindfulness. If there is a psychologist who doesn't practice mindfulness, they haven't started. They haven't. To be an effective psychologist, you need to learn mindfulness, you need to learn prayer, you need to learn meditation. You need to practice it. Even doctors now it doesn't matter what medical doctors, psychiatrists, consultants, whatever you call them out there, they are now learning meditation. They are now learning mindfulness. GPs, go to any GP surgery, they will be talking of meditation, they will be talking of mindfulness. Go to our churches where these things started. This is what worries me. I said psychologists, they go to monasteries, they go to churches, they go to, where priests are trained. I don't know if they should be called monasteries. They go there to spend time observing and practicing mindfulness, interviewing monks, interviewing priests. And this is in a church, this is a religious thing. Meditation and mindfulness are religious concepts, are religious ideas. They come from nothing else but prayer. Yet, in our churches, we rarely teach mindfulness. We rarely teach meditation. I was saying the other day, where people go to pray in the mountains and so on. In others, people, they call it retreats. But they don't have an idea what's happening there. I remember myself when I was young, when I joined the Apostolic Church, Apostolic Faith Church. My first day to go to pray in the mountains overnight, I said, why did we waste our time coming here? Because I didn't see why. Nobody taught me. Nobody explained anything. And we are still doing it today. Luckily, there is EvangMangwende who was changing the landscape in our churches to teach mindfulness and to teach meditation, to enlighten people on the power of praying. Not praying to be married, not praying for a girlfriend or a boyfriend, or praying for a husband, praying to buy a car, praying for this, but praying that, oh God, in the mighty name of our Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, I pray that you fill my mind, you fill my body, you fill my heart with loving kindness and forgiveness, so that I am able to love all without conditions, so that I'm able to be kind to all humanity, to everything that is in the world, so that I'm able to forgive everybody without conditions, without limits. I pray that you fill my heart, you fill my mind with empathy, so that I am able to also see how others are feeling and how painful it can be, or even those who are enjoying, so that I can understand their joy. Fill me with compassion, so that when I have empathy, I am able to go a step further to help not only those in my family or my neighborhood, but anyone across the world, regardless of color, regardless of religion, regardless of race. Give me a warm heart, so that I embrace everybody. And this is what you need to be praying for. This is what you need to be meditating on. This is what you need to be doing mindfulness or practicing mindfulness on, asking these things, asking for these things. And I tell you, whether you are a Christian or not a Christian, even if you are an atheist, you need to have loving kindness and forgiveness inside you in order for you to live a meaningful life. You need to have empathy so that you can help your neighborhood, so that you can also respond to need in society. You need compassion so that you are able to help. You need a warm heart so that you are able to embrace everybody else. So whether Christian or not Christian, we all need these things. And pray, mindfulness, meditation cuts across the board. But more so for us Christians, we need to practice mindfulness, meditation, prayer. Remember, Paul said in Galatians chapter 5, verse 17, the mind, the spirit, my soul, and my body are constantly fighting against each other. What my mind wants to do is not what the body wants to do. What the body wants to do is not what the spirit wants to do. And they are constantly at war. We need to bring these to harmony, so that you are not controlled by your desires, so that you are not controlled by your wants. We need freedom from desires, not freedom of desires. Freedom from desires. You need to be free. And for you to be free from your desires, you need to train your mind in loving kindness and forgiveness, empathy, compassion, warm-heartedness. Train it in that. And you are able to accept the moment as it is. And accepting the moment as it is. As it is. Kana usiri pabasa. Accept that hausi pabasa. Ndozva zviri. Kana usati waroorwa, accept kuti hausati waroorwa. Ndozva zviri. Ucharoorwa, ucharoora. What's the rush? Ucharoorwa. Kana murume achinetsa, ari kunetsa. That is what it is at the moment. Varume vagara vanonetsa, vakadzi vagara vanonetsa. This is, somebody was saying to me, my husband is quite challenging. And I said, okay, tell me, what type of husband do you want? What type of husband do you want him to be? If you were going to mold the husband, what would they be like? So, someone who is really, really trustworthy, somebody who comes home soon after work, somebody who does things that I like, who buys me presents, somebody who, when I ask them to do something, they do it, somebody who, when, and I said, really? You know, the only thing that I know is like that is a TV. You can switch it when you want, and you can switch it off. You can tune the colors, you can tune the volumes, you can watch whatever you want on a TV. But if it is a husband is a human being. So them being human beings, they also have got all those emotions that you know. And they've got all those desires that you know. And they are the same. Don't think if you leave this husband and get another one, they will be different. The husbands are the same. The difference is just the body. The engine is the same. All these planes, and I was saying, all these planes that you see flying, they might be different in color, they might be different in shapes and sizes, but you know what? The engine comes from Rolls-Royce. The same applies to women. They are the same. They come in different shapes and sizes and colors and whatever you want, but they are the same. What you have right now is the best. It's the best husband, it's the best wife, it's the best girlfriend, it's the best boyfriend. But I'm not talking of abusive girlfriends, abusive boyfriends, husbands, and so on. No. There are certain behaviors that are within people. Even children, you might think you have got the so unruly kids. Children are children. You just need to learn how to bring up children. A lot of us, we have become fathers from the blues, isn't it? We have become fathers from the blues without even planning it. It was just murima. Tikapedzera taane mwana and tiri very young and we don't know how to bring up children. Hativerenge mabhuku acho. Kune mabhuku ariko how to bring up children. They are there. There are programs on TV on how to bring up children. But let me tell you, children will always be children. You just need to tweak them a little bit around, know what to allow them to do and what not to allow them, and how to behave now and then, and so on. What you teach them is what you get out of them. Don't believe people who tell you that, there's this idea of blank slate. Children are born blank. It's just a general statement. No one is born blank. Every child is born with a set of almost like all the emotions, and as they grow, they learn how to express them, or how they learn how to hold them back, and so on and so on. It's what you put into them that determines what they will be. So don't think, oh my God, if I told you this little story of mine, when a sisters came, young and elder sister came to us, and they were saying, the older sister was saying, you know what, I've got a problem with my husband. My husband is a problem, and I'm fed up. I'm giving up. And the younger sister was saying, she has got a problem of finding a boyfriend. She has been wanting to be married for a long time, and no one seems to be making the move and everything. And so we quickly thought, oh, okay, this is a case of swap your problems. You want a husband, there is a husband which your sister does not want, and you don't want a husband, there is a situation of your sister that she doesn't want. Just swap. And they laughed off and said, you evangelists, you are very naughty, you are rascals. And we laughed about it. All we were teaching is just accept what you've got at the moment, because you might think it's a problem. You might think it's a problem. Actually, it is. There are problems all over. There are problems. Life is suffering. So there are problems all over. When you are not married, your problem is called single person's problem. When you are married, your problem is married person's problem. If you are divorced, it becomes a divorced person's problem. That is life. So with mindfulness and meditation, it teaches you to accept life as it is. It teaches you to accept what life is. Jesus Christ is an example I was talking about earlier on. Because he learned meditation and mindfulness. Jesus led 40 days and 40 nights. And you usually went into the garden to pray. He usually went into the mountains to pray. He usually went all by himself to pray. We don't even know, do we? Jesus Christ vanished from age of 7 or 8. And we only heard about Jesus Christ when he came to be baptized, when he was about 31, 32 years. So, from the age of 8 until 31, 32, all those 24 years, where was Jesus Christ? He spent time learning. because he spent so much time, he was given the powers to unlock everything. Even dead people, you could just say, rise. The lame, you would just tell them to walk. The blind, you would just tell them to open their eyes. The lepers, you would just tell them you are healed. Even those people with an issue of blood, they did not have to be touched by him, but just to think in their mind, if only I touch the hem of that garment, I will be well. It's because of the power of prayer, the power of meditation, the power of mindfulness. Learn mindfulness, learn meditation, and you will tell me how powerful it is. A lot of people ask me, what drives you, Evangelist Mangwende? You telling us you are in pain, but yet it doesn't show in your face. It doesn't show in your voice. It doesn't show in what you do. You are broadcasting live, yet you tell us you are in pain. How do you do that? It's because I accept pain in me. I have accepted pain. I've opened the door of my mind. I've opened the door of my heart and said, pain, come in. Be my guest. And because I've welcomed pain inside me, it's behaving itself because it has got to live with me. And that helps me tolerate the pain that I have. If I were to show you my leg right now, you would think, oh my God, I've accepted. I've accepted. And the pain becomes manageable. Even psychological pain, I've said sadness, depressed. Are you depressed out there? Are you anxious? Invite anxiety and say, I'm opening my heart to anxiety. I'm opening my heart and mind to anxiety, to phobias. I'm opening my heart to all hatred. I'm opening my heart to anger. I'm opening my heart to all the disgust and fear. I'm opening my heart. And come in, be my guest. Show them love. Show them love. Show them empathy. Show them compassion. Show them a warm heart. Forgive. 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 And when you forgive, your life becomes easy. How many times have I told you, if you're angry, you are not harming the person you are angry at. You can hit them. You can destroy whatever they got. I see on social media, really pathetic, really, I can say, how can I describe it? It's really, really disheartening what you see on social media. Of people just being so cruel. You think, have we become animals? Even some animals show love. How can a group of women team up to beat another human being, another woman? Because of a boyfriend, of a husband. Where is empathy gone? What's their story? Did you know that sometimes what we have gone through in life, how we have been brought up, actually make us so fearful to approach somebody to say, I love you. We don't know. We love, but we don't know how to love. So what do? We turn on to somebody who is already loved by somebody because it has become something easy. And or we fall prey because we don't know how to say no. We have never been taught how to say no. Yet, because of your anger, you just go and attack them and you don't know the story behind their behavior. But when you learn mindfulness, meditation, you pray, you can think alternatively. You can change your attitude. You can change your perspective and try to think and say, what exactly could have driven this other woman? To do that? What could have driven this man to do that? What could have driven my child to do that? I brought up my children really well. I brought them up with the instruction of God. I did everything. Yet, they have done something that is totally different from what I taught them. What could have happened? Because you have got empathy, because you have got compassion, you are going to open your heart to other ideas coming in and think, possibly it's peer pressure. Did I teach them how to deal with peer pressure? No, I didn't. Therefore, I need to start working on that. And this only comes in when you have given your mind that platform to be settled, to be calm, and not be on the run. Mindfulness. Let's do it quickly. How do we do mindfulness? There are a lot of videos that I've posted now on YouTube and also on Facebook on mindfulness. And mindfulness, I want to tell you, I'd say it's easy because that is what will make it easy. Although a lot of people, when they start practicing mindfulness, they will say, mindfulness is difficult, it doesn't work. It works. Just tell me it doesn't work when you have tried it for 21 days, non-stop, every day. If you say you're going to do it for 20 minutes, do it 20 minutes for 21 days, and tell me it doesn't work. It works. It doesn't work. When you, from the word go, you say it doesn't work. Or you shut your, you know what happens with our minds is that what we tell our minds, they tend to believe it. Minds are like children. They need to be molded. They are quite plastic-like, so they can be molded. What you tell them, they do it. You tell them, no, we can. It's hard, it's difficult, and we'll try it. They will do it. They will open. When the moment you say it's difficult, they shut. So, mindfulness is not difficult. It's challenging, and it is doable. Once you get the gist of it, I will tell you, you will enjoy it. You will enjoy the benefits. Mindfulness is always about staying in the moment. Keeping your mind on what is happening in the here and now. So if it is what is happening in the here and now, you need to train it with something that happens always, all the time. And what happens all the time is your breathing. You're breathing all the time, isn't it? If you stop breathing, you're dead. So you're breathing all the time. So I will always teach you mindfulness by observing your breath. Teaching yourself mindfulness by observing your breath. First and foremost, what you need to do is to find a comfortable place to sit, or a comfortable place to kneel on, or even sitting on a chair. It doesn't matter where you are. You know what prayer you can pray standing, you can pray lying down, you can pray sitting. But when we are learning pray, to meditate, to be mindful. Do it kneeling, do it sitting down, and that is good. Find a comfortable place to sit. And when you have found a comfortable place to sit, just bring your back a little bit forward so that you are not leaning. Back up, just your spinal cord straight, chest open. This alerts your mind to say, we are awake. The mind to say, we are awake. I've heard people snoring when they are praying, and you're thinking, what has happened? It's because they've slumped. When you're up and upright, the brain, the message it's getting is, we are awake. So upright, hands or on top of your legs, palms facing down. That way, or facing down. And you start by just getting a physical check of yourself. Check your feet. If you've got feet, yes, check the feet. If you don't have feet, that's okay. If you're sitting on a wheelchair, just check your wheelchair is there, it's balanced, it's locked, and it's safe. It's not going to start rolling all by itself. And you go up your calves, you go up, you feel your knees, you feel your thighs, you feel your bum, you feel your tummy, feel your chest, you got it, your shoulders, go to your forearms, go to your arms and your hands, feel them, your neck, and your body is there. And you just say calmly to yourself, be kind to yourself. When we talk of kindness, loving kindness and forgiveness, you also need to love yourself, to be kind to yourself, and also to forgive yourself, and so on, to be compassionate towards yourself, and to have a warm heart towards yourself. Wish yourself, happiness, wish yourself joy, wish yourself good health, and check your emotions. Where your emotions are at the present moment. Are you feeling frustrated? If you've been listening to this for a long time now and you're wishing it's coming to an end, yes, it's coming to an end. Just notice that frustration, notice that edge inside you, and let that go. Let it go. Let it go. Notice any other discomforts that you can be feeling, and just let them be, and or let go. Then when you have done that, what I would like you to do now is, we're just going to do this for 5 minutes, just 5 minutes. So what I want you to do is now to gently shut your eyes. Just gently shut your eyes. And I want you to breathe in through your nose, and you breathe out through your mouth. Just like now, you just do 3 of them breaths every time you do mindfulness. Do 3 of them, and then you just lower your head a little bit, not down there, but just lower it a little bit. If you want your eyes open, just open them gently, just slightly, so that you are not distracted by whatever you are seeing down there. Just look into space, into nothing else, and just observe your breathing. Just observe your breathing. Just the breathing. Your mind, pay attention to the breathing. Every bit of your mind, let it pay attention to your breathing. There is something that you are going to notice, that your mind is not going to stop thinking about other things. It will definitely think about those things. They will come. What you need to do is notice that your mind is now getting hooked onto other things, or it's beginning to chase other things, and let go. Just let go of those and bring your mind back to your breathing. It's okay to smile when you're doing mindfulness or meditation or praying. It's okay. It doesn't matter how many times your mind wanders. That is what minds do. What matters is to notice that your mind is wandered away and bring it back to paying attention to your breathing. Okay, I know it's not 5 minutes, but it's 5 minutes. That's quite long for other people. Now, even a minute is okay when you start to do mindfulness. Even a minute is okay. What is important when you are doing meditation, when you are doing mindfulness, when you are doing this type of prayer is to pay attention to your breath. Pay attention to the moment, and the moment is your breathing. So let your mind just focus on the breathing. I said, the mind being the mind, other thoughts will come. Even a thought to say, this is being silly. We call that judging. That's making a judgment. This is awkward. This is rubbish. That is judging. So if you are being mindful, you make sure you do not judge. When you judge, do not judge yourself for making judgments, because as humans, we are constantly making judgments. This is normal. Notice the breath. Bring your mind back. It goes away, bring it 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 back. Now, what will happen is when you bring it back all the time, it begins to respond positively to say, I need to stay on the breath. This is what I need to be doing. It stops chasing the monkeys. It stops chasing the squirrels. It stops chasing the birds. It stops chasing all those other things, and it will focus on the breath. And tell you what, you will notice that the moment your mind focuses on the breath and locks on the breath only, you shall tell me, you begin to feel a certain calmness descend on you, descend into your mind, and you feel peace, and you feel a certain tranquility, and you feel a certain power coming in. I will tell you one secret. As you learn mindfulness, as you learn meditation, as you learn this type of prayer, you will begin to experience something extraordinary. That's when wisdom comes in. That's when enlightenment comes in. That's when the Holy Spirit comes in. I want to draw your attention kune vana vaMwari vaKristu vari pano vakateerera kuti pane paunomboziva paunocherechedza kuti pane rumwe rumbo rwakaimbwa muchechi rimwe zuva. Nditungamire Jehovha, ndiri mufambini she, mune simba ini handina, ndashayiwa simba ini. Omponesi, 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 ini ndovimba newe ishe. Omponesi, omponesi, ini ndovimba newe. And when that song was being sung, you just from nowhere, you started feeling your skin tightening up, something crawling on your skin, and your eyes shut. But while your eyes were shut, you could see clearly the world. You could see your life clearly. You could see the life of somebody so clearly. And tears started rolling down your cheeks. And you started speaking in a language that you didn't know or understand. And it happened for 0.5 seconds. And you opened your eyes and you're thinking, hey, what's happening? It ended. Or you begin to hear almost the whole church goes into frenzy. People start speaking in tongues. The sick begin to be healed. Mind yabo. What happens that possibly without knowing is people have entered into a meditative state, have entered into a mindfulness state, have entered into a spiritual prayer state, a prayer which is silent, a prayer which is coming from deep down your heart. Matthew chapter 6, Jesus says, don't be like the Pharisees, the Sadducees, and all those other people who want to stand in the marketplaces, who want to stand at the crossroads, who want to stand pachela. But you, when you pray, find a quiet place and silently talk to your Father, who hears in silence and rewards in silence. Will hear you because he knows. God knows what you need already. God knows what you need. He knows your requirements already. And what you just need to do is find that quiet place. Sit comfortably. Kneel down comfortably. Put a cushion under your knees, because sometimes you can be there for hours. Shut your eyes. Shut your mouth. And let your heart, let your mind speak with God. Just pay attention to your breathing. And let your mind speak to God. If you have got to speak, to say anything at all, just say inside yourself silently, I pray for loving kindness and forgiveness. I pray for empathy. I pray for compassion. I pray for warm-heartedness. If you want to add on, pray for harmony. Pray for peace. And you're praying that these be filled in you and also be extended to all humanity and be extended to every living being. That's what you're praying for. And when you have done that, your God, who knows your desires, who knows what you want, remember, God formed you. God knew you. He loved you before you were even formed in your mother's womb. So he knows everything that you don't have to shout it. You don't have to. You've got to pray for loving kindness and forgiveness, empathy, compassion, warm-heartedness, harmony, peace. To everybody, to all humanity. Let there be peace. Let there be love. Unconditional love. Unconditional compassion. And you will begin to heal. You will begin to heal. You don't have to ask God to heal you. He knows. He knows you are not well. So he knows you want to be well. But pray, pray. Job tinodzidza zvakawanda pana Job. Job anonzwa naMwari kuti, you know what, pray for your friends rather than praying for yourself, because I already know what you need. God knew what Job needed, so there was no point praying for his own healing. But the friends didn't know. So you know what, your role, rather than praying for yourself, which is selfishness, pray for your friends, pray for your family members. Kupongozhana kupere, kurwisana kupere, kukakavara kupere, kunyimana kupere. Pray for your country kuti zvinhu zviite zvakanaka, hurumende dzinzwisise, dzidanane, materrorists hatimade. Pray for such things, not for your own personal things, because God knows already what you need. That is mindfulness, that is meditation, that is prayer, which God really values. That freedom of desires and freedom from desires. That's what we need to be. Galatians chapter 5. Mabasa emweya nezvibereko zvenyama. We need to pray. We need to pray to be free from those desires. We need to pray from those desires. I wish you all joy. I wish you all happiness. I wish that you also be filled with loving kindness and forgiveness. I pray that you also be filled with empathy. You also be filled with compassion. We're talking of global compassion. Compassion that doesn't know borders. Compassion that goes beyond just your family and friends. To have a heart that wants to help everybody, anybody, anywhere. Even a bird, when you see a bird that is struggling there, you have a heart to want to save it, to help it. I wish you warm heart. I wish you health. I wish you happiness. May God be with you. And thank you for watching. And may God bless you. Good night.